Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 13. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Dave Rogenmoser. David is the author of Beyond the Grid and the co-founder of multiple online businesses. His entrepreneurial leap is riddled with stories of failure, which makes his stories of growth and success that much more enjoyable. He believes entrepreneurship is the path which enables people to become the best version of themselves. Hello, David. I know the clan here is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your online business? Take us right up to the last job or business before you became the online internet marketer.
Yeah, so I've always really enjoyed entrepreneurship. I've always really liked the idea of owning a business, and I've always kind of liked marketing. Now, I have a whole bunch of little failed businesses as a kid and stuff like that, but I really was never able to kind of make anything succeed. And so, I'm kind of your classic entrepreneur in the sense that I've always kind of liked it, but I've never really been successful at it. As I look back up until about 8 months ago. So yeah, right before I started the online business, I was actually working at a university. And I was living at one of the fraternity houses as a house dad there, which was a pretty fun experience. And I was basically just an advisor on campus, advising people across different programs on campus and working with different kind of student groups. And yeah, really wasn't doing anything online, like not even close. Everything was offline, and it was just working with people. And so it was really kind of a big leap for me to jump from that into the online business, but it worked out.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So Dave, help us connect with you. What is the thing, anything personal or business we want to know about you, even if you have been online for 8 months?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I mean, really, what I love doing, and where we've kind of been going with the business is just love, working with individuals, and so that's kind of been the biggest, I think, piece of where I've come from. The biggest, I guess, key that kind of has unlocked everything has just been working with different people, different kind of coaches, different programs, things like that, and that's really been huge for me. And I think that's really kind of given me the jump start here over the last 8 months to kind of start the business that we have now.
Wow. How did you go? You said you were at university advising, doing other bunch of things, but what happened that you became an author? What?
Yeah, so as I was at the university, I kind of started to have the idea that I wanted to start my own business. And I think I'd kind of let that dream die a little bit inside of me before. I kind of wanted that as a kid, but then I don't know, I just kind of got caught up in what I was doing with work, and really wasn't thinking about starting a business. And all of a sudden, just kind of the idea kind of came back into my mind. I was actually reading the book Think and Grow Rich, which a lot of people probably read. And it really challenges you. The author, I think it's Napoleon Hill is his name, kind of challenges you to write down like what you want in life. Write down a dream on a note card or a piece of paper, and then say it in the morning when you wake up, say it in the evening before you go to bed, and really kind of think about this, all throughout the day. And you'll see that a lot of things start to come into place to kind of make this dream happen. And so I wrote down on a note card, and I still have it today, that I wanted by the age of 30 to start multiple profitable businesses and get recurring passive income so that I could be financially free. And I wrote that out on this note card that by the age of 30, I wanted to have those multiple businesses. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know, what was going to come out of that. I didn't really know what I was going to do to get there. I just knew that's kind of what I wanted by the age of 30. So I had about 6 years to do that. And through that, I went to a wedding that year. So this was about maybe 2 years ago. I went to a wedding and ran into kind of a guy that I knew a little bit, an old friend. I didn't really know what he was up to. I thought he was doing, something else, not in business. And we just started talking at this wedding, and he mentioned that he was starting an online software business, and that he'd been going through this program teaching people that don't have any idea, don't have any money, how to start a business. And I thought, like, oh my gosh, like this is me, like this is the note card. And so we started talking, and he just kind of explained to me, how he was going about the process, explaining, some of the different, materials he was reading and listening to. And it was kind of the answer to that note card, or that dream that I'd been holding on to. And again, I was reading this note card all the time, hoping that would happen. And so I just kind of started talking with him about what he was doing. He sent me over, a bunch of, podcasts and videos and things like that. And I just kind of dove in to this idea of starting a software business. And, fast forward 2 years now, and that guy is Chris Hull, who's my business partner now in Market Results. He's the co-author of Beyond the Grind. And we honestly really weren't even very good friends before that one little interaction. But I think because I'd had that dream written out, because I had that on my mind, it sort of clicked, as soon as we crossed paths, and it seemed like it would be a good fit to do stuff together. So that was kind of the turning point, I think, to kind of launching out, and becoming an author and starting these businesses. And so Chris and I guess the story with the book was, I was actually laying in bed a few months after that. So this was about a year ago. I was laying in bed listening to this podcast at midnight. And I've learned I got to stop listening to podcasts like when I'm going to bed, because I get so fired up and I want to go take action. I want to go implement what I'm listening to. So I kind of have this rule now that I can't listen to any materials like that before bed. So I'm laying in bed at midnight listening to this podcast, and this guy is like 24 years old, and which was the same age I was, 24 years old, and he's talking about how he wrote this book and published it, and it just got him a whole bunch of speaking opportunities, and just kind of started to build a brand for him that has generated a lot of different revenue for him, different revenue streams. And I'm sitting there thinking, gosh, if this guy can do it, if this guy can write a book, I totally can. So I ended up getting out of bed, and just for the next 8 hours, from midnight until 8 a.m., just stayed up through the whole night, just started writing out ideas for what, I could write a book on, and kind of, what different, stories could I tell? What different thoughts was I really passionate about? Kind of what ideas did I want to get out there into the world? And I think once, morning came, I texted Chris, who's again, my business partner, and just said, hey dude, I want to work on this book with you. You're kind of a guy that, has really been pivotal in my life. And I think you've got a lot of ideas to share. So why don't we do this thing together? And it was kind of from that we got the idea to write Beyond the Grind, and basically just kind of share our stories as entrepreneurs and how we have escaped the daily grind and started, living life that we want to live.
Wow. Phew. What amazing story. Okay. People tend to think the sunshine always shines because now you are successful. Did you have any setbacks, any failures while coming into online marketing? What are those setbacks? We really love to hear them.
Yeah, gosh, I literally, I was thinking about this the other day, looking back over the last year and a half of starting these businesses. I really would say the one word to describe it all is probably failure. It has been, in a lot of ways, just a series of failures over and over and over. And that honestly, that's hard. It really is hard to fail. I think people, look at, people who are getting some success, or, even people who, look like they have it all together. I probably think this way about entrepreneurs much further than me. And we kind of think that they're not real people, or that, failure doesn't really kind of suck. It doesn't really hurt anymore. And I think the fact is, yeah, we've got a good business going here now, but the failures, are still hard. And the last year and a half has been hard, full of failures. But I think I've just kind of had this resolve that I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back to a regular job. I just couldn't go back to be an employee. I felt like I have to keep pressing forward, because I have to be an entrepreneur. It's what I'm put on this earth to do. And so I think that's kind of the difference between people. Everyone's going to have the failure. It's just kind of who really has the resolve and the dedication to kind of push past it. So there's definitely been plenty of failure. One story that comes to mind is, this was actually when I was just starting. I had this software product I was wanting to create for fraternities at colleges to use for recruitment. And so I got this list of emails of a bunch of different fraternity advisors. These are people who, were kind of in control of each fraternity. And I had a list of, I think it was about, 150 of these emails. And I was like so excited. I was going to send them out an email, tell them about what we have to offer, and kind of get the company started with that. And so I get this email all ready and send it out. And I'm just waiting for, the responses to start coming back in. I'm waiting for people to start buying. I'm waiting for everyone to be excited about it. And I got a few responses immediately. And one of them was, who are you and what do you want from me? Was one email I got back.
Oh.
Another one was, stop spamming me. Please unsubscribe me from this list. And then I ended up getting an email and then a call from the national chapter. So the head of the entire organization of fraternities internationally ended up calling me and telling me that I needed to sign a cease and desist letter, that I would get fined $1,000 for each email I sent out if I sent out another one to their list.
Oh, no.
And that I just had to basically shut the entire project down and couldn't move forward with that. And that was like, that was a punch in the gut. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like this is terrible. I don't want to do this anymore. This is too scary. Being an entrepreneur is no fun. I just want to go back, get a job, and not have to do stuff like this again. And it was really kind of crushing for a while. And then I just kind of thought about it like over that night. And I was like, well, like that was really bad. Like that was kind of worst case scenario. Again, I didn't end up getting fined for the emails, but I was like, okay, that's worst case scenario. And you know what? Like it wasn't that bad. Worst case scenario, and it wasn't that bad. And I kind of had two choices. It's like, do I want to keep pressing on and like build this life of freedom and abundance that I really kind of am dreaming of? Or do I want to, let this little email setback, this little failure kind of stop me? And I just decided, hey, like I want the freedom more than I hate the pain. And so I kind of kept pressing on. So that was kind of one big failure. I ended up kind of pivoting a little bit and just reaching out to a different list and stopped emailing that one list and realized like, hey, there's a lot of people that, kind of want to put doors in front of you or kind of want to, I guess, shut doors in front of you. But there's just so many other people that are willing to buy your stuff, are willing to open up opportunities to you and want to help you that, now when I meet a closed door, like it doesn't mean anything to me. Like I just turn and there's another open door next to it. Or I turn and there's another closed door, then I turn again, another closed door, then I turn again, and there's finally, I find the way. And so, yes, I think now those things, again, they still bother me a little bit, but not nearly as much. I've kind of gotten used to failure because it's just kind of a regular part of my life now.
Wow. Whew. Okay. Regarding that setback, what emotion did you experience? How did you feel? How did you describe what was going on with your closest friends? Did you share that big
Yeah.
failure to your family and friends?
Yeah. So I didn't tell anybody about it for a while. I didn't want anyone to know. Because again, I just wanted to, like, I was just really embarrassed. Like, it's really embarrassing. And you feel like it's a personal attack. And I guess that's what I've kind of come to realize too, is that everyone's just thinking about themselves for the most part in the world. Like the people who are sending me those emails, like they send that email to me, say unsubscribe, this is spam, and then they move on with their day. Like they're not mad at me. They don't think I'm a loser. Like they're not even probably thinking about me. They just send that email and they move on. And so I was just taking it all really personally. I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone hates me. Like I'm a loser. And then I just kind of came to realize like, no, that's not true at all. Like that's not true at all. This is just like one little thing that happened. And this is just kind of part of the story. And so I felt terrible. I ended up telling friends and family. I actually wrote about that story in the book, which was kind of tough because it's like, again, kind of embarrassing to look back at that. But I think I've realized like when I share those failures and I share those real experiences, that only helps other people. That's a really helpful thing to share. And again, I think I want to use kind of some of the setbacks and failures and parts of the story, even the ones that like aren't that fun. I want to use those to help other people make that journey as well.
What did your friends say, that you won't make it?
Yeah, a lot of my friends.
What was the response from your friends?
A lot of my friends were like, well, yeah, man, you shouldn't have sent those emails. Like, yeah, man, like, I don't really know. Most people just don't understand what I do. Even to this day, a lot of my friends don't really know like what we're doing or anything like that. And so, yeah, so they definitely like didn't understand it. And they definitely, I definitely felt like there was a lot of people that, weren't really thinking I would make it. But then again, I do have, some really good friends that are really supportive. And, one of my friends, Chris, the guy's my business partner now, like I remember telling him, and we weren't working on this project together, but he was doing kind of something similar. And I told him about it finally, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I get those messages all the time." And he like showed me his email inbox, and it was like a ton of people like unsubscribing from his list and telling him, all of the same stuff, but like 10 times more. And so it was just, it was really nice knowing that I wasn't the only one out there,
So
failing.
it made you feel better then.
Totally, totally. And so I think that's been a big lesson too in all this is having people around you that are doing the same thing, having the same experiences. It makes it so much easier to fail because we're all just kind of failing together, and then we're learning together, and we're moving on together. And yeah, it definitely kind of takes away the pain of it when you've got other people with you.
Okay. I know my client would love to hear how you overcome this, and we are going to talk much more about this in our extended interview. But Dave, how does it feel now you are living your dreams?
Yeah, I mean, it feels awesome. I think it's hard to really recognize like where we're at. It's hard to kind of have that, proper perspective about, how far we've come. I was actually looking back the other day, and I feel like I'm always saying to our team, I'm always saying to our guys, "Hey guys, we're really close. Like we're really close to making this. We're really close to, building a great business and building a strong business." And I was looking back over the last 8 months, and again, we signed our first client for digital marketing 8 months ago. And every single month since then, we've grown the company by about 33%. So 33% month over month, which is, pretty good. And I kind of realized that it's not that we're close, like we're there, like we're doing it. Like I don't know that there's ever going to be this like huge windfall where we're just going to like triple the company in a few months. Like really, it's just a small series of growth, over time, over weeks, over months, over years that will kind of grow this business. And so I look back now and it's like, wow, like we're there. Like I never thought this was possible. We're hitting new goals this month that like I was listening to a podcast a year ago, and one of the guys in the podcast said he was making $20,000 a month from his business. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like that is so much. Like that is amazing. And like, that is a lot of money. And then this month, I guess 8 days ago, we kind of closed up September, and we made just over 20 grand in our business, this last month. And it's just like, it like hit me like, wow, like a year ago, that was impossible. And like now, like we just did it. So I think it just gets me excited moving forward, kind of dream about, what we want to do with the business and kind of where it's going to go. But also it's like, it's nice to stop and kind of say, hey, look, like we're doing it. Like we've really, accomplished a lot of our goals, and we're really kind of living that life of freedom that we've always wanted to right now. So I guess, yeah, when I stop and think about it, like it does feel really good.
Wow. So what is your focus or specialty online, and what do you do for people?
Yeah. So our main business, again, the company is called Market Results, and our main business is helping businesses acquire new customers through the internet. And so basically what we do is I just, approach different businesses, locally or, around the United States. You can kind of do it anywhere. And then basically just talk with them about, who their target customer is, and then kind of what, I guess, like what the offer, what the sale is that they want to offer. And then I just help them, run Facebook ads, help them run AdWords, or help them do some SEO type things for their business. And what's nice is like, I don't really know that much about any of that stuff. Like I outsource it all, which is pretty sweet. And so that kind of held me back, I think, for a while when I was getting started, was like I hear people like doing marketing, or hear people like doing consulting, and I'd like to do that. It seems really great, but I actually can't run any of that stuff. I don't have any like actual skills to offer here. And I've realized, over the last 8, 9 months, that like I don't need to know how to do that stuff. That there's people out there that you can just outsource it all to. And so that's been our business model here. I connect with business owners on LinkedIn. Usually they find me. I shoot them a message, ask them, if they'd be interested in talking more about their online marketing and bringing in new customers. And then I set up a call with them. We just talk through kind of their pain points, and what they want to do in their business. And then if we decide, to do a campaign together, say I'll sign somebody up for Facebook ads, then we'll set them up, and then I basically just outsource all the work off to some guys who do Facebook advertising, and I just kind of sit in the middle and kind of put a client all together. So it's a pretty neat business model that kind of anybody can really do. And I really don't even know that much about Facebook ads or AdWords or anything like that, but I know how to find people that can do all that, and the client just pays me, and we get the job done.
Wow, it sounds like an easy job, but I don't think so. Because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you fly around the world for free? Because I would like to know. I would like to go home for free once in a while.
Yeah, totally. And so where are you located and where's home?
I'm in London, so I would like to go to Uganda for free. Because
Okay.
for you, you are flying around the world for free.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get a lot of free airline miles. And I write about this in the book too. It's probably like the most popular chapter. I kind of break down how I do it. But it's called travel hacking. And with the travel hacking, basically, and this is mostly just in the US, unfortunately. There's some things that you can do in other countries, but it's kind of a US credit card based thing. But really what I do is, credit cards will give you big bonuses if you sign up for their credit card. So if you sign up for, the Chase Southwest card, they will, give you 50,000 bonus points whenever you spend, $2,000, let's say. And so basically I just sign up for a credit card every couple months and, spend the money on it. And then I'll get, 50,000 points. That's 3 round trip tickets to a lot of places, around in the US just from that one credit card. And it's as simple as that. It just signing up for credit cards and then, accumulating the points. And, there's all sorts of other like little things that you can do with that. But yeah, really I signed up for the credit cards and then use the points to fly all over the place. And so I really like United Airlines. That's one that I've taken, pretty big international trips on for pretty cheap. So if somebody's looking to get into this, United is really kind of, my favorite airline with that. But, it works on a lot of the different airlines, but you've got to be using US based credit cards for the most part.
Oh, okay. I guess us in England, we are out. So we might be coming to US, I think.
Yeah. No, and keep an eye out. I know there are some people that, are doing it, in Australia and some doing it in the UK and things like that. It's just a little bit more difficult to go kind of acquire the free flights. But if you're listening to this and you're in the US, you can get so many free flights doing this. I fly almost every weekend now. Like I've been traveling almost every single weekend over the last, month or two. And I've got a trip, I'm flying to Disney World tomorrow. And then after that, I'm going to San Diego next week. And it's all free using these credit card techniques, using the travel hacking. So it's definitely worth it if you're in the US.
Okay. My client of hungry entrepreneurs looking to move forward their business. How can your expertise help my client?
Sorry, say that again. You kind of cut out.
My clan is a group of hungry entrepreneurs looking to move their businesses forward. How can your expertise help my clan?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people who want to be entrepreneurs and who are kind of getting started in business, I think a lot of it really comes down to mindset, and that's kind of a trendy topic, I suppose, in entrepreneurial world. People talk about mindset, more and more, but it really is true. Like, so I run a course called 6K Success, and it's basically, the same type of people who want to kind of leave their job, who want to start becoming a digital marketing consultant and kind of build that life of freedom that they've always kind of desired. And so people are in this course, and a lot of people come in from all different places. I basically give people the exact strategies that we use in our business. And so all I do is I break down exactly how I get my own clients, exactly how I sell them, exactly how I deliver it. I just break down and document every part of our business. And I know it all works. Like, it all works because it works for me, and I'm using it every single day. So I'm not just like, I'm not kind of holding back, I guess, what I do and then teaching them something else. So I'm teaching them exactly what I'm doing. And it's interesting that a lot of people come into the course, and even though I give them the exact steps, for some reason that they can't quite follow it. That they can't take the steps the right way. They kind of, tell themselves they can't do things. They have these big limiting beliefs. And I think a lot of people come in and they're not really ready mentally, yet to become an entrepreneur. And they're afraid of taking action. They're really afraid of rejection or failure. And so they just, again, even though they've got the steps, they don't have the mindset yet. They haven't really become the person that they need to be a successful entrepreneur. And so that's just kind of the starting point that I think a lot of people need to go through, and that we're doing more and more inside of our training program, is helping people overcome their own obstacles, basically helping people get out of their own way so that they can become an entrepreneur. And I think that just takes time. That's a process that people have to go through before they can get all the steps right, before they can kind of use the methodologies. They've got to see the world in a different way, I believe.
When you say it takes time, is that means like 6 months, 2 months? How long?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on where people are coming from. And so for me, I was a full-time entrepreneur, maybe is what I'll call myself. I wasn't working a job and I was trying to start a business. I wouldn't necessarily say I was an entrepreneur yet because I hadn't started a business, but I was doing it for almost a year full-time before I really started making any money. And so for me, again, that's just me. I had to, work through my own stuff, and I had to stop being so afraid of everyone rejecting me. And I had to, learn how to plan out my day and focus on, one task at a time. I had to go through some of that different stuff to get there. But for me, it was about a year to even learn how to start making money. So it kind of depends. Some people, can pick it up quick. I'd say most people, it's really kind of a journey of, 6 months to 18 months of just like really, really like hard work, really kind of transformative work in their lives. But then after that 18 months, it seems like there's kind of this tipping point that happens with entrepreneurs, that 18 months in, and actually I heard this like a year ago, and I looked back and it was like right at about the 18-month mark for me that things really started to click. That 18 months, just something shifts, and all of a sudden you go from like not having any opportunities, and you just like struggling to like get anyone to answer the phone and just kind of get any traction in the business. And then you kind of move into this place where you've got too many opportunities and you've got too many people emailing you, and you've got to, and then the problem is you got to decide, what's worth it. You got to decide what are the best actions to take in a given day, because there's literally, hundreds of things that you could do. And so I would just tell people that, if you're aspiring entrepreneur, if you've kind of been on the journey for a while, just keep pressing on, because at some point you're going to hit this tipping point that's really going to kind of unlock a whole bunch of new opportunities and new exciting stuff for you. And I've definitely seen that true in my own life.
Okay. How did your first book get into #1 in travel and the #2 in business? How did you make that?
Yeah, so it was we self-published it, and it was again, it's called Beyond the Grind: How to Do Work That Matters, Travel the World for Free, and Escape the Daily Grind Before It's Too Late. And so we wanted to brand it in such a way that it get people excited. That obviously there's that like really long subheader that kind of explains what's inside the book. And I guess we wanted to kind of give it the best shot that people would know what it's about and get excited about it. So with the book, we actually ran a Kickstarter campaign for it, which is just a crowdfunding platform, because we didn't have any money. We wanted to write this book. We wanted to build some momentum for it, but we needed, other people to pay for it. So we ended up running a Kickstarter campaign to kind of fund our book, and ended up getting $4,000 of that. So that kind of, I guess, gave us the upfront capital to go write the book, to go get it published and printed and all that. And then from that, again, that's kind of when we started really writing the book, after we'd already had all the Kickstarter money come in. And so then basically what we did was we put it on Amazon, and we had a whole bunch of, the Kickstarter people and a whole bunch of friends and kind of early readers go on the very first day that we launched it on Amazon and leave a review. And basically, once we had a bunch of those reviews on there, people that read again, we didn't tell them to leave a 5-star review. We didn't tell them, we just said, hey, just be honest. You've read an early copy of the book. Just, leave your honest opinion on there, and just put it on there on this one day. And basically the way the Amazon algorithm works is, if you go in there and have a bunch of reviews on that first day, it kind of build some really quick traction. And then they'll put you on some, early release or some, recent releases list. They'll put you on kind of up and coming lists. And eventually, I guess I just kind of climbed the charts, over the first couple weeks and months to number one in travel, and then number two in all of business, which is pretty sweet. So like I was above. I've got some screenshots of it on there, but for a while there, we were above the 4-hour work week, and we're ranked higher, in Amazon than Tim Ferriss's book, and there were some books that were big books by famous authors. And our book actually beat theirs, for a while, just because we'd kind of gotten all the traction early on. So, we were mailing out to our list. We were, tweeting. We were, and actually thinking about, we really didn't have like a list back then. We had like 150 people who had signed up on Kickstarter. So there wasn't really it wasn't like we had this huge list. It was just like my own personal Twitter account, my own Facebook account. I was texting my friends and telling them to buy the book, go leave a review, emailing people. It was just like totally grassroots type stuff that anybody can do. But if you kind of do it in the right order, you can get the traction, and Amazon will really kind of reward you for that.
Okay. Right. Do you have something today that can help with our online journey? Something to make us a bit not scared?
Yeah. Related to like failure, or kind of what would you like me to talk about here?
I gather you have a digital marketing consultant program. Where do we find that?
Yeah, totally. So, if people kind of really want to take the next step and kind of, break into entrepreneurship, and I guess a lot of people that come to our program, they basically, they've bought other programs before, they've bought other courses, and really they just want something that works. And that's just kind of what everyone comes in, with. They just want something that works. They're close. They're ready. A lot of people, are in their jobs, and they just kind of want to leave their jobs, and they just want something that works. And so my goal when people come into our program is to just get them a client as fast as possible, just to get them some traction. And so I don't want to give people some complex, complicated system for going out there and building a business, because I know that they've been through that before. And so really what we look for is, okay, how do we get you to sign a client in the first 30 or 60 days? How do we make sure that there's actual cash coming back into your life in the first 30 or 60 days? And so, again, we use LinkedIn for that. We've got some pretty cool strategies that, you don't need a list for, you don't need to be, in the digital marketing game for long. We kind of set it all up to where there's people that are kind of coming to our students over LinkedIn. And so I've got students that'll go change their LinkedIn profile, and 3 days later, they've got business owners reaching out to them on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, I've really been looking for someone to do Facebook ads. Could you help me with that?" And like 3 days ago, these students didn't even know what Facebook ads were. They just, they knew what they were, but they didn't know anything about consulting or anything like that. And just in 3 days, they've already got people that are messaging them on LinkedIn to get help. And so there's some pretty cool stuff that we're able to do with that. But yeah, if people want to sign up or, come check out more information on the course and kind of see our strategy, they can go to 6ksuccess.com, and that's the number 6, letter K, success.com. And we've got, a really cool webinar coming up here that's just we're going to break down all the different LinkedIn strategies that we use. I'm actually going to just share my screen with people and show them, again, kind of exactly what I do on LinkedIn to go get clients coming to me. And yeah, it's an awesome community. I love, the group that we've got there. It's a bunch of people that are super fired up about, going out and signing clients, getting business. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Okay. Now you can find that program on 6ksuccess.com. So check it out and don't miss out what David has to share with you. It seems it is 6 weeks, I presume, the program.
Yeah, so it's actually 8 weeks long. So the 6K comes from, my goal is to really help people get to $6,000 a month of recurring revenue. And I know that, again, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money. But I think there's something that really, really changes in someone's life when they get to $6,000 a month. And it kind of comes from that. I read this study one time about what's the happiest, does money buy happiness? And in the study, they were kind of just, seeing and evaluating people at all different income levels and seeing kind of who was the happiest individual? What was the happiest kind of income level? And they found out that in this study, about $75,000 a year was kind of the people that were the happiest. They didn't have to worry, a whole lot about money. They had, the things that they needed, taken care of. But they also didn't have so much money that just created a whole new set of problems. And so I kind of just broke that down, monthly. And that's, it's a little bit more than $6,000. But I just thought, hey, if we can give people $6,000 a month, that's about $75,000 a year. And I think that will get people to a really, really healthy spot that's going to kind of open their eyes for all the new possibilities past that. And so, yeah, so again, people aren't really coming into our program. I think most entrepreneurs out there, they're not trying to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. They're not trying to be, the next Steve Jobs. They just want to make some money so that they can, provide for their family, so they can, enjoy some of the nice things in life, and so they can, run their own business and enjoy their own freedom. And so that's why we kind of chose the $6,000 mark to get people to.
Okay. Right, clan, Dave is going to hang out and share more information about his journey with us. If you can relate to where Dave started his travels so far, or if you just want to learn more about Dave, you can listen to the extended version of his journey at onlinesuccessjourney.com. If you are listening on the journey, click on part 2, Dave's journey, and you will be listening more and more tips to help you with your own journey. Remember, you can go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for more information. So check out Dave's digital marketing consulting program at 6ksuccess.com. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. See you in part 2. Patience and Dave.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.